late in the third quarter after dislocating his left index finger while playing defense. X-rays came back negative, and when asked if he'd play Game 3, Lillard responded with, quote, "Oh, I'm playing." Shannon, how effective will Dame be moving forward?
Well, Skip, this is something I'm very familiar with. I dislocated the middle finger on my left hand with the brace myself on fall, and then bloop, next thing you know, it was painful, it was swollen, and I ended up having to tape, two fingers together. The thing is, for me, I'm catching a ball. I don't have the ball in my hands every single play. And so we're going to see if I'm the Lakers, I'm going to see.
But by the way, you're catching 100-mile-an-hour fastballs from John Elway, right?
Yes.
Who had maybe
Well, actually, Skip, it happened to me when I was in Baltimore.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, it happened to me in
Well, then
Baltimore.
you were not. You were catching 75-mile-an-hour fastballs, right?
Close.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, let's see how well he can dribble with the fingers, because normally they work like piano keys. Your hands do, on the basketball. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he dribbles the ball with his left hand. It also plays a major part in the shot. I think what a day, once the soreness alleviate somewhat, Dame will be just fine. The question is, Skip, what is his response to how the Lakers are starting to defend him? Is he going to say, because there are a couple of times, like normally he'll split the double team, or he'll rise up and shoot before the second defender gets there. What's his response going to be? But I don't think that finger is going to be an issue. It's painful, yes, no question about it. It's painful. And you're scared at first because you look down at your hand, you're like, that's not how my fingers normally look. So once they go back and they got it in place, Skip, yeah, it's painful because it went out of the joint. Now, I've had a dislocated elbow, which was way more painful than a dislocated finger. So I just think the thing is, it'll be a little discomfort. But the thing is, they're not playing today. Ice it, keep it iced. They'll tape it together, and we'll see. I'll be surprised if he plays like this, Skip, because you see those fingers. He got his index finger. I had these two taped together, not the index finger, because I needed to, catch the ball. So I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. But these guys find a way. He's a shooter. He'll find a way to try to get the ball in the basket.
So let's address this issue first. At that point that he hurt himself, it was 3:12 left in the third quarter last night, and they were down 3-0 points.
Right.
Should he have been in the game at that point? It was a 25-point game as early as 9:01 left in the third quarter. Should Coach Stotts have said, okay, that's enough?
They were probably hoping they can get a 15-0 or 19-5 run, something like that, and get it down, and then all of a sudden, they're back in it. He plays major minutes. This was a blessing in disguise because he's playing 42 minutes a night, and he only got 30 last night.
I agree. I'm going to give Coach Stotts a break on this one.
Yeah.
It was still the third quarter.
Correct.
And to your point, there's probably no more nuclear firepower in this league outside of Steph and Clay than those two.
Correct.
So they can get going, and we know Damian can get going from logo distance.
Right.
So if they suddenly caught hot hands for whatever inexplicable reason, could they have come back from 30 down? Probably not, but could they have made it interesting?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay, so he's saying, when he was asked about it after the game, why was he in the game? He was playing basketball, said Terry Stotts. Okay. And the point is, that's just who he is and what he does. Right. He plays basketball.
Correct.
He plays 40X minutes a night.
He does.
Okay, so I'm good with that. But you're starting to dare the devil at about the 3-minute mark of the third quarter, because he has played too many minutes, and you have played too many edge-of-the-cliff games in a row, which just wears on you psychologically. I thought the Blazers just came out flat last night. I thought they looked mentally fatigued to me. I thought maybe they took their foot off the gas a little bit, like, okay, we won a game. Now let's just see if maybe we can sort of accidentally win this game.
Well, theoretically, if you really look at it, Skip, this was their 10th playoff game.
Yeah.
Because since they arrived in the bubble, every game has been playoff mentality. So you're exerting more energy than, say, a typical game in February, Skip, on a Tuesday, and you play in Sacramento.
Okay.
Every game has been playoffs, and Dame has been playing 42 minutes a night.
I got it. So from what I know about dislocated fingers, as long as you didn't break any of the bones in the finger, and he did not, according to them, X-rays negative.
Correct.
it will be okay sooner than later.
Yes.
There is soreness. And my only issue with how the Blazers handled this last night, I believe in ice. I ice my knees every night. I never miss a night. Ernestine says, again, I never miss a night because it's magic.
Yes.
It's the magic healer is ice.
Yes.
I wrap both my knees in ice every night because I'm going to run every morning, and they just get sore.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
I was surprised he wasn't iced up.
Right.
Like the clock is ticking on game 3. It's coming in 48 hours. Well, this is just about pain threshold. It's about soreness. The soreness will go away. It's inflamed, obviously, in the joint. It will go away. And if you'll help it, obviously you'll take anti-inflammatories, but if you will help it with ice, he should have been it should have been wrapped in ice immediately when he went back.
Well, normally we have to stick eyes in a ice cup. Freeze the cold water.
However you want to do it, it should have been then.
Yes.
So I was disappointed in them. They should have been ahead of that curve because you're just wasting time. The clock's ticking toward game 3. And yet, I do believe that even though it's the index finger, so it's going to affect your handle a little bit, your crossover, you know, anything. It's going to affect your ability, as you're talking about catching passes, but he's got to be able to catch the basketball also. And it can bother your shot, even though it's the offhand. It can mess with your mind a little bit because it's not going to, with them taped together, it's not going to feel exactly
feel the same, especially dribbling, Skip. Because you don't normally dribble.
Got it. But I do think he was feeling a lot of pressure last night that surprised me because I thought they would feel like last night was a free shot, but I think they felt the weight of the world to come out and show the world they are that good. And they had crowed after game 1. We can beat these guys. And I felt like Damian came out last night feeling a lot of pressure. This will take some pressure off him because expectations will lower. And now you've got the Willis-Reed syndrome. I know our younger viewers won't remember Willis-Reed, but he had a bad knee and he hobbled out onto the floor.
He tore his quad, didn't he? I think it was quad. I think it was his quad.
Did he tear it? I don't think he
pulled it. He had a pulled quad because he came back there. He dragged the leg.
He dragged it out, and all he needed to do was just be out there for the tip-off, and he didn't do much in the game.
Did he have 2 points?
Yeah, he had 2 points, but it was just the inspiration. He was so again. Damian's got to be better than 2 points. But again, if he'll suck it up and be able to play, I think some pressure will be off. And it's like Dick Motta used to tell me, it's the wounded tiger theory. Beware the wounded tiger. Especially if a team's lost 2 or 3 of its better players, all of a sudden everybody will just rise up. Well, he might rise up.
Well, Skip, the thing is, Skip, if they were in the Rose Garden, I don't know what if they still call it the Rose Garden. If they were in Portland, I might agree with that. But they're in the bubble. There is no home crowd. There's no crowd that's gonna get you pumped up. That's your crowd. They're screaming Dame, 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 dollar, 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 and they're playing all your music. So that's gonna be a little different. Skip.
You know, it is weird in the bubble. I've been thinking about this last night, where usually at least you get to change scenery after 2 games, and the whole vibe of the game is going to change because, oh, you're at home now. And LeBron and AD got to deal with your crowd now. Well, this is monotony because you're going to have to go potentially 7 straight times to the same sort of weird, dark arena with virtual fans.
You might have to change sides. So where the Lakers were sitting, that might be Portland. And where Portland was sitting, that might be the Lakers.
Just to mix it up a little bit.
But that's the only thing. But, Skip, they have something that's more troubling. They was averaging 126 points in the 8 games in the seeding games. They're averaging 94. I think that is a bigger problem than Dame's hand. They got to figure out a way. It's hard. It's going to be hard for them to win games in which they do not get to a magic number 115, 120, 125. These 100-point games, I don't know if they can consistently win those. But Dame and CJ need to play well. And if one of those guys doesn't play well, the other guy needs to be nuclear. Now, they're capable of that. They're more than capable.
They are.
But that's the question. Can one of these guys go off? It's probably have to be Dame. Dame needs to average 40 in order for them to win this series.
The trapping, if done smartly, is really bothering him.
It is.
And the problem with him as a superstar is he's only, what do you say, 6 feet? I think he's listed at 6'2", but 6-ish.
Okay,
Okay, so he can't just say, okay, if you're going to trap me out high, I'll just go post up on you. Jordan would just say, okay, just give me the ball on the edge of the lane and not let the elbow of the
And it's harder for him, Skip. You trap LeBron. LeBron is 6'9", so he can see the entire court. He can see over that. So that's what makes him such a great passer, is that when you try and trap him with the double team, okay, I know where you came from, so my guy's sitting over here wide open. It's a little more difficult for Dame because he is a smallish guard. So when you get 6'4", you get 6'8", trap him up high, it's a lot more difficult for him to see over that.
So my bottom line to this is, I do think he'll bounce back and play very well, and I think he'll have much bigger numbers than he put up, and I don't think the index finger will bother him that much.
I don't either.
I do think the pressure will be somewhat off him so he can play a little more free in the next game, and I don't think it will matter.
Well, I'm playing on his right hand. I'm going to see how well he can dribble and do what can he do with that left hand. That's the way I'm going to play him. I'm not going to let him have the ball in his dominant hand. I'm going to try to keep him away from that.
Good luck.
All right, guys, we will have an update from Chris Haynes as well later in the show on Dame's injury, so we'll get there. But I want to move on to something that we saw from LeBron.